Once again, hello everybody, welcome. The 9th match in the series of US Chess Women's Saturday weekly matches. You guys can hear me now. I do have a voice. Relax, I'm here. No need to panic. I know you miss me. So today we got Andrea Botez taking on WIM Jessie February. We matched them up. That's exciting. I'm going to be looking at it from White's perspective at all times. As you can see, their blitz rating is actually quite close. They're both 1800. I thought this was going to be a pretty close match. A lot of people ask about classical ratings versus over-the-board chess, and as I've said many times before, it's a completely different animal. So somebody might be way stronger in classical, but maybe they haven't gotten as much experience in over-the-board games, so sometimes you'll see someone with a higher FIDE or a higher title. Their ratings are close as tactics and chess. Exactly. So I would love to hear chat's predictions as always. I know we're seeing e4. Well, I know that Andrea doesn't really love playing against e4. She plays the hyper-accelerated dragon. And actually what I'm going to do for Andrea, since she is my little sister, I'll definitely take notes if she's playing anything incorrectly because she has a tournament soon and I want to make sure that she's, you know, preparing and learning from her mistakes. So this is actually going to be a pretty educational match for her as well. And if it's any help for Jessie, we'll do that also. Andrea's going to start off stronger and Jessie's going to win, says Blade Dancer. Okay, 10-6 for Jessie, says Norder. Hyper accelerated Drunk Pyro. Who plays it? Andrea plays it. I think she recently switched to it. She used to play a perk, but it's not as much her style yet. I think she's used to more positional openings like the London. Pim Verkirk, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. And you guys can also watch the match on #chess if you'd like to support their channel as well. You know, I don't always do that, but they have almost all the requirements for partner, and we're just trying to get more and more people involved in the chess community on Twitch and keep it growing because it's definitely one of my favorite communities on the internet. How do I think this game will end? Well, so far it looks like a pretty level position. So we got the Maroczy bind structure here with c4 and e4. It can be somewhat tricky to play against because White has more space in the center here, but in exchange, Andrea is putting her knight on c5 because there's no pawn on d4 to kick her knight out. And this is a position Andrea should be familiar with because she also plays the perk, which is kind of like a King's Indian against e4. Whoa! Ulan Kalupit donated $25. Thank you so much, Ulan. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Jen says this is her least favorite line to play against a dragon. Why do you prefer this one the least, Jen? Okay, so Queen e7 makes a lot of sense. She needs to make some space for her rook from f8. Maybe it's going to come to d8. The difficulty of playing this position with black is you're not really sure when you're going to push either of these pawns, the d pawn or the e pawn. As you can see, d5 is so overprotected by white. We got 4 defenders right now, and black is only supporting that square 3 times, so it's almost impossible to push. So you almost feel like you're never going to get space with black in positions like this. But what Andrea is doing is she's starting to put some pressure on the king side, which is very respectable. Facias, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Okay, Jen and I seem to be on the same line of thinking here. She said no space and hard to get play, must be patient. Yep, that's exactly what I was trying to point out as well. You just have to really wait here. And it's actually similar to a lot of positions you get in the King's Indian as well. So again, at least Andrea's familiar with it on that end. Jessie just blundered a pawn, so that's a little concerning for her position here. Now I prefer black, and surprisingly, Andrea is up on time. She's a slower player, but she has been getting online experience. You need to play d5 and b5 break, but in blitz, it's tough to time it right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Andrea didn't even need to go for b5 or d5 because she got lucky and was able to get a blunder from Jessie. But Jesse is creating some play here, so we have pressure on the e4 knight and on the rook. I think what Andrea has to play here is rook e8. The idea behind that being if the bishop takes on e4 after, we can take with the e-pawn, and then the knight is going to be pinned. Oh, Andrea missed the way to save this position, so now she's just down in exchange. And Jesse gets the advantage once again. Cyril Roberts, thank you for the 2 months. Yeah, I thought it looked good for Andrea HBM. Now I prefer white, but oh, Andrea actually has 2 pawns for an exchange. I counted that wrong. So she has 2 pawns and a bishop for the rook, so that's actually equal material. It's not clear to me which side I would prefer to play as here. Maybe after a move like c5 when we have rook c8. It seemed like we'd almost be able to get the pawn back because the queen is tied to the g2 square. I'm starting to like black better once again. Hey, Mafriel, great to see you. Oh, wow. Yeah, I typed it quickly and added an extra U. Thank you for letting me know. That is a big mistake on my part. I'm going to fix it. Jessie is down a minute. Yep, she is down a minute here. And the position is much more difficult for her to play because her queen is tied into the g2 square. Black also has these 2 passed pawns, and even though she has the 2 rooks, she hasn't been able to take advantage of them. The rooks are good on open files. Maybe if her rooks were, you know, one on c7, one on f2 pointing towards the pawn, then it would be trickier, but I do like Black's position here. Whoa, Nicola, thank you for donating $100. Good luck, Jesse. Good luck, Andrea. I really appreciate it, Nicola. Thank you so much. That was Nicola, Sean the Chess Master. Please at him in the chat. Send him a thank you. He's also one of the donors in Open Field Media, one of our new sponsors. So thank you so much, Nicola. Really appreciate it. And if you guys want to check them out, give their channel a follow, show them some support. Just putting it in the chat there. Oh, the command is off. There we go. Okay. So really liking Andrea's position here. These 2 passed pawns are too strong. She is up 40 seconds on the clock. D3 looks like a really intimidating move because we're attacking the queen, trying to push it away. And then E3 is coming. The queen is always going to be stuck on the second file or on F1 to protect the G2 square once we open up the diagonal here. E3, also a strong move. D3, good threat here that attacks the queen, and then D2 is going to fork the 2 rooks. Can't play D3 anymore because rook is going to take, so bishop E4 first to help the pawn push forward. Does Andrea have a title? Andrea doesn't have a title yet. So she is, I think, nearing 2,000 in USCF. She's getting stronger, that's for sure. We're going to be playing a tournament together in April. One second. Okay, D2, almost winning. Is there a threat here? Maybe, no, queen D8 isn't something we have to be afraid of. Queen E7, we could just block the threat. Okay, well, I think, sure, she could trade off first, but this is a harder position to win than what she could have done otherwise. Oh, no. Andrea was completely winning, and now she's better, but it's going to be tricky. I guess she could just go for the pawn. Yeah, okay, rook takes, and then white should keep the rooks on the board, make it a little bit more likely that she can get a draw here. King F6. Nice. So 2 pawns up. Even with the rook endgame, she should be winning. Get her king up, maybe push h5. If she can somehow grab the h-pawn as well, that's fantastic. If not, she could trade off one of her pawns for the h-pawn and just have 2 extra pawns that are passed here. Yeah, she's still winning, but that was unnecessary. I agree with that chat comment. It didn't seem forced at all. Okay, that's a free pawn. Let's take it and be happy. Nice. We won't see those Botez flagging skills. No, I guess not. This is definitely starting to become resignable for white here. Andrea has to make it harder than it needs to be. Exactly, Astro. That's one of Andrea's talents. Still winning. She can take the rook here. I know Andrea knows how to win these endings. I'm not concerned. Although, okay. We got a resignation here. The score is 1-0. There we go. They're starting. Great. There you go. So now you always have the score somewhere on screen. It's nice to not have to pick between us two for a change, says Gerber. That is good. Andrea playing the London system here. Okay, we know this is an Andrea favorite. And whenever her opponents play classical lines, she's definitely more experienced in these. But Andrea isn't as good at playing against sidelines. So we'll see if Jessie figures that out throughout the match. Okay. Bishop b5 here. I don't think Andrea usually plays that. I thought you were supposed to play with bishop e2, but this is a fun idea. She's going for pinning the knight on c6. Wow! Lile, thank you so much for rating with a party of 97. I really appreciate it, Lile. Lile Koridza played a match yesterday against WFM Anna Kramling. She won 10-2. She also beat me 10-2. She's a very strong Georgian player with 1 WIM norm. Wow, Coffee Man. All right, so knight takes d7 is really tempting here because you want to get rid of the bishop pair if you can. Knight takes, queen takes. Good position for white. At the same time, our knight in the center is very powerful, but now knight takes e5 is a threat, so we have to do something about it. Definitely the best option there. Andrea can simply continue castling here if she wants, or just play knight d2 first. If I were black, I'd consider pushing the bishop away with a6. We see Mama Botez and oh, you guys don't see her in the background? Yeah, you do. She's fixing the heat settings, being a mom, always changing things around the room. Okay, black castled here. Let's see. White is going to have to go for e4 at some point. Is this Andrea's first stream match? This is her first match in the US Chess Women that is individual. She played 2 hand and brain matches before. One with MVL as her partner and one with Greg Shahadi. So very strong partners to get the chance to play with. Oh, really, Jen? We were playing above the rim on some of our cap scores. What does cap scores of our match mean, Jen? Andrea might be snacking because, like I mentioned, she did wake up recently. Okay. Andrea has been sitting on this position for a little longer than she has to in Blitz. If she castles, then black can take on g3 because h takes g3 isn't so dangerous anymore because there's no more rook on h1. So she plays instead a waiting move, a patient move, a3. Just going to allow c4 here, which I think is okay if you're going to get e4 in, but it doesn't seem like Andrea is getting e4 in right away. So maybe d takes c5 is supposed to be bad in the London because you're not supposed to give black e5. So I guess that's why she doesn't play that. Knight e5 makes sense to me. Black is getting this huge spatial advantage on the queen side. that she'll be able to use. Now she's putting pressure on e5. It's attacked 3 times, defended twice. White can play something like f4 if she wants to take back with e5. You see this sometimes in the London. It's a more aggressive line, but it's also a little bit more weak of a pawn structure. I always really like playing the lines like this. The problem is that black can also play knight e4 and eventually kick off the knight from e5 with f6. And white is never going to have the option to kick off the knight from e4 with f3. MVL got his shot after all. Exactly, Ahmed. Okay. f6 is a move I expect to see. Knight takes c6, queen takes c6, and then black can go for ideas like... Well, now maybe f5 is even an okay move. Because if black is able to close up the center and the king side, then she can play on the queen side where she has the spatial advantage. So she basically doesn't want to allow white to have any counterplay here. Is that your prediction, Coffee Man? Yeah, the white bishop is awful. It is placed behind all of its pawns on dark squares. This position looks really good for black. And rook f6, kind of a weird choice to me. You don't really want to be putting your rook on the king side here. This is not where you're going to have the advantage. And if you do start pushing pawns on the king side at some point, you're weakening your own king as well. And you're also going to open up some of the... take away some of the pawns, open the position for white's bad bishop. What I think black should have gone for is probably just open up on the queen side, or maybe even go for something like c4 and a5, b4. She should play on the side where she has the spatial advantage. Ah, yeah, that makes sense, Jen. Jen says, last week, Chiyu Zhou versus Lille looked on chess.com later, and a lot of the accuracy numbers corresponded to GM level bliss. That's really impressive. Rook c8. Good. So Jesse is doubling up on the open c file. Queen d2 makes sense because if you get a move like queen c2, then you could help support it with rook d1. Andrea's playing more passively here, and she has to be. But both sides are under 30 seconds on the clock. Andrea's got some bullet practice. Yeah, invading on the c file makes sense, but now her rook on g6 is out of play, and if you trade off the pieces, then it's going to take... I mean, this rook, where's it going? We have an awesome bishop, but it's blocking the rook's mobility here. And now if white is able to trade the... Not trade right away, maybe, because bishop takes is... Oh, no, Andrea, that was not a good move, because you're freeing the rook. Well, that does nothing. She wanted to get her king closer. Okay, but you could have done it with the rook as well. Yeah, Andrea's playing passively here. Black definitely has the edge, but will she find a way to break through in the time pressure? We'll find out. Thank you, Astro, for the $750 donation. Best of luck to both Andrea and Jesse. Thanks for the great commentary. Aw, I appreciate it, Astro. Thank you so much. Okay. King d2. Solid move. She has to go for that. Again, if I were white, I would be happy with a draw here. I wouldn't force anything because white has much less space in this ending. So no reason why white should be forcing. She's in a slightly worse position here. Oh, man. And then she just blundered. Okay, and nobody's seeing the blunder. And we're saying, yeah, you don't see it. Okay, what the heck is... Oh, it's not a blunder. Never mind. You had rook e1. I'm the blunderer, not these ladies. I'm wrong. Not them. But now she missed it. Now she missed it because the rook was on h2. 12 seconds to 16, and there goes the rook for Mobamba. When you realize the blunder was you. Exactly, Esther. That's a great comment. Well, down a rook. Andrea is smiling, shaking her head. And black won. 1-1 is the score. Andrea doesn't seem too happy about that. You are supposed to just hear me, Yayo. Because they're not talking. They're focused on the game. Alright, we got another dragon. Andrea's going to have to play against another Maroxy bind. Last time we were here, Jessie got the better opening position. But ended up blundering a pawn. You like that photo? I'm glad to hear it. What sister does that? Exactly, Norder. What sister does that? Okay, castle. We got Hess here, or are we just talking about Hess? Do they play the whole match before the first interview? Yeah, we're going to talk to them at the end. But at 5 wins, or 5 points, we're going to have a halftime break so that they can go to the bathroom and whatever they need. Just talking about Hess. No, that makes sense. Little halftime show. Makes sense. Knight c5. Okay, so this is similar to before. So what Jen was saying when she was here is that black usually tries to prepare d5 and b5, but it's very slow. Let's see if Andrea can figure out the plan this time. And for Jessie in this position, she just has to be careful to not make a blunder in time pressure. Jessie is starting to play more online. Yeah, Gerber, I really love doing commentary with Hess. We will be doing more, so that's good news. Queen d2. Nice move connecting the rooks here. Putting more pressure on the dark squares. This is a patient position for both sides here. e6. Okay. Rook fd1 is what we saw last time. Makes a lot of sense. You want to put pressure on the d6 square. And now the only way for white to protect it is with bishop e5. Although bishop e5, f4, well, if f4 is played, then the pawn on e4 is only protected once by the knight, so that's actually okay. So bishop e5's got to be played here. Andrea says bang, bang, bang when she calculates. Bishop e5. How should white continue the attack here? Unlimited rice pudding. Thank you so much for the 20 months with the 20-month streak. I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Thanks so much. Bishop h6 is an interesting decision. I don't know if I love it. We're going to put the rook on e8. Just move it away. It is a bit annoying to have a bishop so close to your king. But why do I not like it? I guess I don't like it because it was good to see the bishop staying on e3 where it was maintaining pressure on the center here. You can't remember watching too many streams, Mighty Warrior. You weren't watching too many of Andrea's streams, or whose? Okay, rook e8, 1 minute 57 seconds to a minute and a half. Andrea's doing pretty well with her time management. I think that Andrea has been better with time managing so far. Rook e8. How should white continue her plan here? Now that's a trickier question. If there was some way to kick the bishop out and go for the d6 pawn, that looks like an interesting idea. Jaguar Cup, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Good luck, ladies. I appreciate your donation, Jaguar Cup. Thank you so much. What do I think of queen h4 for black? That would be a good move if it was black's turn to move. Probably maybe white would have needed to do something like g3 earlier or put her bishop back on f4, which just means that she almost wasted a move going to h6 and back to e3. Queen h4 now, okay. And so the bishop probably needs to take on e5, or she can play g3 to protect the bishop. Bishop can't go anywhere else because then queen takes h2 is a threat. Bishop takes e5, d takes e5 at least doubles up black's pawns. So still pretty solid position for white here. You got to give Andrea credit trying to punch above her weight class. Well, she is competitive. She likes playing games. And they do have a similar rating in Blitz. So she is punching above her weight class. But again, as always, as I've mentioned, online chess is very different. No, I didn't just wake up tired. I'm not feeling super well, but we're here. I'm not sleepy. I'm excited about the games. Trenchfoot, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate it. We'll support it more in the future. It's a great cause. I really appreciate that. Andrea plays as good with black pieces as with white pieces as white knight. That's actually a great observation. Some people are a little lopsided and more lopsided. I'm more lopsided. I think I play a lot better with white than with black, usually. I know, Gerber. I know. That's why I don't even want to say it. Anyway, white offering to trade off the queens here. It makes sense for white to try to get into an ending. She already has the rooks doubled on the d file. Timmy G donated $25. Bang, bang, bang. Great commentary. Thanks for getting me fired up about chess. I appreciate it, Timmy. Thanks so much. She can't play London with black. No, she plays the Sicilian with black, but now Jessie has a really good position. So the pawn on e6 is pinned. She can't take back because the queen is going to be hanging. What should black try to do? Probably knight f4. Her knight is on the edge. She should go and support the pawn on e6. Maybe queen g5, get out of the pin, and threaten knight h3. Yeah, Mega, I don't know why that happened. I'm going to have to fix it. Oh, I think she could have taken here. Okay, I'm getting hiccups. Somehow black traded off into a much more equal position. Mobamba too strong. Andrea got really lucky to get into this endgame. Now she's up a pawn. Okay. How should she continue here? Oh, not up a pawn. Never mind. She just traded off a pawn. Knight versus a bishop. Usually the bishop is better, so she's going to want to keep her queen on the board. For white, white has better chances here if she would have had a dark squared bishop, because then she could have maybe gotten some type of checkmate on the black king. But with the light squared bishop, the king is actually pretty safe. Queen takes e5. Now black is going to be up a pawn, and her not up a pawn yet. So many tactics in this ending. Seeing Andrea this focused and quiet is mind-boggling. It's kind of nice to see. Okay. Now it's looking very even. I keep thinking that there was a tactic involved, but I was wrong. Okay, now it looks like there are free stuff involved, but they are not being taken advantage of. Just don't flag either player. I guess she's worried about queen g8, but then we have king h6. Okay. Knight f3? Oh no. I think white just blundered into checkmate. Got queen c1. Yeah, you can see from her expression she notices what's happening here too. Oh man. Wow, Andrea with the time pressure. She is getting... Oh, there you go. Some celebratory avocado toast from young Botez over there. All right, here we go. Match number 4. Are we going to see another London? I wish we would have some diversity, but I'm sure Andrea is going to go into her beloved London system. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty even match. Andrea wants the toast. She does want the toast. The toast. The toast. I'm really on top of my pronunciation today. It's fantastic. Okay, well, let's see if she goes for a similar idea with bishop b5 that she did before. She seems to have liked what happened in the last game. If I were black here, I would consider maybe bishop takes f4, e takes f4, and then maybe bishop d7. Okay, castle to just immediately remove herself from the pin here. Nicola, thank you for gifting to Anna Kramling. Anna, good to see you. I know, Mega. If you're not used to them by now, then it's a little strange. She plays bishop g3, and Jessie retreats her bishop to e7. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There's no pin, and the bishop on d6 was controlling the e5 square, so I thought it was unnecessary. I actually like, oh, maybe her idea is knight h5. If she plays knight h5 here, I take back everything I said, because maybe she's going for the bishop pair, and the bishop can't trade off. That idea would have been really nice. Can't heat right now, hear what they're saying, but I agree the avocado toast is great. Well, it is very popular with people under the, I mean, avocado, okay, you know, when people say it's popular with millennials, I think it's just a tasty food. And, you know, millennials can sometimes have good taste. Case closed. Cool. So, semi-open B file. Black has the bishop pair, but the position is closed. So, how should white try to play this? Well, white shouldn't try to open up the position. Maybe a move like h3, because knight h5 and grabbing the bishop would be a little bit annoying. This dark squared bishop is actually an important piece for white. h3 is always a nice prophylactic move, also preparing your king to have some space if things ever get tricky later on. You've never had avocado Jaguar Cup. Ooh. I don't like avocado by itself, but I like it with bread or other things. Rebecca, avocado and peanut butter is too much for me. But I'll trust that it could be enjoyed. Okay. F4, keeping the position closed. This poor bishop. You know what? If we're going to close the position like this, at least trade your bishop for the knight. These positions are so slow and hard to play for white, if you ask me, even though it looks good. If I were black, I would instantly take on d4 because we want to get rid of these double pawns, and then go for a move like c5. You try to open up the position here. You have the bishops, and you're desperately trying to get more space. c4 here, and then double up the rooks on the c file. Yeah, Ghost of M. So every Saturday, like today, I do a US Chess Women series match, and 60% of whatever is fundraised goes towards the US Chess Women charity, and that basically helps girls in the US get access to things like training camp, girls only rooms with coaching at events, supports some of the top US chess female players. And then the rest of the 40% is used towards future matches. So sometimes I bring on a commentator, or sometimes I try to bring on a guest onto the channel. So that is where it's going towards. And so far the matches have raised for the US Chess Women charity almost $5,000 since we started. So that's awesome. I used to play in these events when I was young. Actually, when I was 15, I won US Girls Nationals. And then I got a full ride scholarship to University of Texas, which would have made a huge difference for going to college. But anyway, so it's just a nice way to give back. Norder, thank you for the $5 donation. Really appreciate it. And we also have Jen Shahadi here, who is in charge and can answer any questions you have. Yeah, I ended up going to Stanford, but Stanford also gives really good financial aid, so giving an option between there or a place where university would have been paid for. I mean, it was unlikely that I was going to get into Stanford anyway, so. Okay, back to focusing here. Andrea has 20 seconds on the clock to a minute and a half. So it seems like Jessie is doing better under the time pressure here. Knight b1. Andrea's getting a little desperate here. E takes c5. Looks like a good move for black here because you're trying to open up the position as much as you can. c4 is tempting, but at some point I'd like to get these bishops open, especially since white overextended her f-pawn, so the king might actually be a little bit more weak. E takes f5 is a good move because if rook takes, then the rook is hanging on c1. Knight e4 also very strong. She's putting her knight on a central square here. Queen's under attack. Jessie's got to move it so she doesn't get into the Botez fam here. Rook takes c8. Stanford's football team's mascot is a tree astro. Stanford University's mascot is cardinals. It's a little confusing. But anyway, the tree is pretty funny. So it has a fantastic personality for being a plant. B takes c3. Okay, somehow Andrea survived this position again. And now the position is more close and the knight on e5 is pretty active. Weak pawn on a2, weak pawn on b5, but it's more level now. If I were black, I would probably try something like bishop f6 or bishop d6 and get rid of this knight and leave white with a slightly worse pawn structure. If you guys want to see what Jessie is saying, here is her channel. Go give her a follow. I would have squad streamed. They're not a partner yet. But one day. Ooh, b4. This looks really dangerous for white. What are we going to do? If we take, then we lose our knight. Andrea has 10 seconds on the clock. She's got to make a move here. Maybe something like knight d3 she can try. B takes e3. But if you take, pawn takes, rook b3, best attempt maybe. Okay, so c2 isn't going to work because we're taking the bishop. Black is up. Oh, no, we just saw a blunder. Oppa. Oof. Okay, you need to play rook f1. Because king f2, rook c2, you're going to lose the knight. If I were Andrea, I would have gone for the draw. Now, if you want to be sneaky and try to go for a checkmate, you can. Rook e7, go for the pawn. So black is still up a pawn, but I'm feeling a little more nervous here. I would say the position is still probably equal because white is likely to get one of these pawns back. Where do we need to put? No! Oh my god, Andrea. Oh, Bob. Okay. Get that rook off of that threat. I have no words here. This 15-second chess is crazy. Okay. We're not going to take the free pieces around here. Now you got king f4 and king e5, which should have been played right away. You get your... Come on. Kings are important in that. Get your king to f4 and... We are having an endgame study session. Like, g3 is not doing anything. You had a chance to activate your king, to go get the pawn back, and you didn't go for it. Oof. Okay, that's fine. Now, black decided to give a pawn back. I mean, this should be a draw still. But with all of the blunders I've seen, either side might make a mistake. See, now white is up a pawn. What is going on? Is she going to take the pawn? Oh, wait, she has mate. Oh, my gosh. Ooh. Ouch. 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 And the avo toast. The victory. Avocado toast. She wins. And when she feels like she deserves it. There you go. Avo toast, Andrea. Oh, man. All right, we are getting started here. Okay, I need to grab water. It'll be 1 second. Enjoy this hyper accelerated dragon again. Although it's a little bit different now. This is gonna be a different one. Okay, I need water. 1 second. We are back. I already had too much coffee today. Whew. All right, so let's look at what's going on here. Andrea getting very aggressive, but she doesn't have any threats. Her queen here seems to be looking towards the d4 pawn, so I guess we have to take care of that. I'll play something like bishop g4. Just block it and threaten to take the knight and mess up black's pawn structure a bit, but I don't like it because that would allow g takes and then getting the rook onto an open g file. That's just a blunder. We're giving up the pawn for free. I don't know if Andrea's going to take it, but attack 3 times, defend it twice, and no pins to follow up on. Maybe she thinks she has knight b5 at the end, but then... No, we could just take it. Something like this? Is this a threat here? No, because we take on f3. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to defend it. $10 was donated. Let me thank Smithy Mora for the 1027. Thank you so much, Smithy Mora. I really appreciate it. Let me just make sure that the notifications are actually showing up. They will be showing up now. Kind of on top. There we go. It is first to 10, and Andrea is already at 3-1, ladies and gentlemen. Bishop g4 potentially is an interesting idea, but then you have knight takes, pawn takes, and then queen takes here, so that's not good. The problem is that e5 is now hanging also. Jen, can we make an emote for you in the chat? Oh, that's a great Nicola emote, Nicola. The Matrix one. And we could bring out the Jen emote for these matches. Stream is back. Stream is back here. It is White's turn. Oh, I thought it was White's turn to move here for a second. No, it is White's turn to move here. I'm just behind a little bit. Sorry. I had been analyzing a position and we hadn't seen the rest of the moves. Whoa. Wait a second. Did we just blunder here? Oh, she was afraid of knight g5, but she could have... that is actually tricky. So maybe it didn't work. Because where's the queen gonna go here? Did I say knight g5 instead of bishop? All right, so actually, that did not work. Oh my gosh, Chesme! Thank you for the $250 donation. Testing. Hi, Jen. Shahadi, you're my hero. Love you too, Botez. Thank you, Chesme, for the $250 donation. Chesme, that's insane. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Holy smokes. Thank you so much, Chesme. Knight takes c5 looks pretty scary too, even. I would probably consider sacking and then going for the bishop. Although I guess we're already up enough that maybe it seems unnecessary. Andrea streams on BotezLive, so we actually have a conjoined channel. WIM is higher, Brisket. Now, Andrea's getting some compensation. So she has 2 pawns for a piece, but still worse on the board. Should definitely retract her bishop here. Yeah, Midnight Rhino. Andrea and I conjoined channels. Was it a month ago now? Maybe longer. So that's why we did a name change. Andrea streams on here regularly. We also do a lot of streams together. Wait a sec. Why are we... Ooh, okay. So let's go back for a second. Yeah, so rook c1 was a blunder. It steps right into this pin. Could have done a ton of moves other than that. That would have worked better. And now I prefer black's position once again because we have a rook for a knight and a bishop, but we also have 3 pawns. So a rook and a pawn versus a knight and a bishop is equal, but we're 2 pawns up here. Usually the knight and the bishop is better, but with this amount of pawns, I would take black. No, it's happening. Can't rubbish. Jessie, February, very nice, putting pressure. She's going to get one of these pawns back. Are there any scary threats here? Say rook here. Is queen c1 and queen f4 annoying? Maybe. I mean, black could go for a draw. If knight takes b2, for example, if we're just grabbing something, then this position looks pretty okay for white. Say queen e5, putting pressure on the rook. I guess the issue is there's no other rook to help protect, and now the knight is pinned. So this is actually not the ideal way to take. But let's see what she played. Oh, this actually happened in the game. Yeah, her last name really is February. Okay, we got rook fc8. Now this position is pretty good for black. Oh no! Stop the checkmate! Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Mo Bamba! Let's get that Avo toast, Mo Bamba. I want to see that celebratory toast. Gonna take a celebratory. Andrea's playing... Well, the thing is, Jessie has been getting better positions and blundering them in time pressure. It reminds me a bit of the Anna Lille game we saw yesterday. Match. So Jessie's the one who's diverging from what they've played so far with c6, even though I liked her positions better than the ones Andrea got. But it seems like she wasn't too clear about the middle game plan, so it's good to switch it up every now and then. Andrea's FIDE rating, I think it's like 1700 or something, but again, actually, if somebody can look up Andrea's FIDE rating, let me look. Maybe it's 1900. Oh, her FIDE rating is 1676. Yeah. But again, in Oregon, where we went to high school, there's maybe like 1 or 2 FIDE rated tournaments a year. So don't look at her FIDE rating. Her USCF is 2000. And I think her FIDE would be at, if Andrea lived in Europe, her FIDE would be between 19 to 2000. So that's more of a lack of access to FIDE rated tournaments thing than Andrea's real level. Jessie's FIDE rating is 1869. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, well, we went to high school in Oregon. Anyway, let's look back at this position. H3, making space for her bishop. This is a really, I don't like these positions for either side too much. I know it's gonna sound bad. I mean, I play stuff like this as white. It's just so slow. As black here, you have to develop your bishop at some point. Maybe b6 here, or you could play even slower, rook e8. What I don't like about it is that none of these central pawn pushes look good yet. So it's like a hedgehog. You're really playing patiently here. How do you get a title without the rating? You can win a title at tournaments. So for example, I won my WFM title at the North American Championship. So my peak is like 2080 or so, but to get WFM you need to be 2100. So I never actually hit the rating qualification. So a lot of young players are able to get titles by winning that, or if you win world championships or world youths. What time is it? It's checkmate time. Well, it has been checkmate time for Andrea. Finally, Jessie gets in some pawn push here. Let's see how Andrea reacted with queen c2. Okay. And now the pawn is probably better off left there. I think if we push it to e4, that's an issue because we have knight g5 and we're putting pressure on the e4 square. d5 probably wouldn't work because, you know, not everybody wants to give up their queen. Some people do. Let me refresh here. So h6, another quiet move. And now we're, oh gosh, the queen is coming back to d8. That is not looking good. I didn't think that was necessary here. Probably would have just played b6 and tried to take my bishop out. Very passive idea here. I think, didn't Andrea and Anna Kremling play something for fun? I'll check with Andrea. Jaguar Cup asks, when are we going to see some egg cracking? That's a great question. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Once you get a title, it's permanent, Bongo. You can't lose your title. It was a bullet match. Oh, okay, but they didn't play blitz. Yeah, I think Anna versus Andrea. I think Anna is probably the favorite for sure. Unless Andrea starts becoming better in time pressure. G. Peterson, I'm just trying to get more visibility on the girls who play the game to make up for the lack of female players who actually play, because I think increased visibility will help signal to other girls that it's a good place to be in and there's a good community of people who you could see yourself as or who you can see yourself being friends with. XD lesson 3. Yeah, we're actually playing one in April together. So Andrea and I will both be playing. Bonvase, but that's changing. That's changing. This queen almost looks trapped. Bishop c7. Okay, the queen has one more escape square, but this position looks so cramped for black here. Easy moves like rook c1, Andrea could play very quickly. She has a minute to 16 seconds. She has a comfortable lead, but I think she's looking for some tactics here. Maybe queen c6 is what I was going to say next. You can't play bishop b7. If you play rook b8, do you want to take the piece? Oh. Okay. I think it's now 15% females to 85 Stambouli in the US. And this has been a huge increase in like the last 10 years or so. Big increase. Yeah. And it's interesting because in elementary school, you see almost equal numbers. And then as you started approaching high school, there's a huge drop off. Yeah, it's a record. So I'm saying 14%. Okay, so close enough. Yeah. Oh, man. She dropped. That's tough. Okay, let's give these ladies a break. Let's get them back on the call. 1 second. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Jessie.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
I am enjoying the games between you guys. Andrea, congrats for leading so far. Jesse, you've been playing really well. I know you made a couple blunders, or in the time scrambles you've had a tough time, but you've been getting really good positions.
Yeah, I did that in a few of my games too, where both of us, it's like one of us have a minute advantage by like maybe 20 so many times. Yeah. We both struggle with time.
I did want to say, Jesse, I thought the way you were playing against Andrea's London in the previous games over this one was going pretty well for you, actually, until maybe the middle game when you'd give her back some of the advantage. But I really like the way you've been playing it.
Thank you. I've literally been trying to find the reputation to the London. Like, this is my kryptonite, man.
London is the best opening.
Please don't say that to Andrea. I'm trying to weed her off the London.
London is the kryptonite. You heard it, chat. You heard it.